Hello there. I'm John, and today we're going to be visiting professional artist Amanda Webster live from England, who's going to be creating a profile of horse's head using the side of a charcoal stick. But before embarking on our trip to see Amanda, a quick shout out to our most recent patrons for joining our fun community. So thanks go to Susan Webb, Suzanne Hill, Nan Wright, Oze Marvin, hope I've pronounced your name correctly there, Oze, Chris Justice, Ruth Hilborn, and Angela Bennett. So thank you so much for supporting us, and no matter what level of patron you are, you'll now get automatic entry to all of these live shows throughout the month. Simply visit our live events page on our website to find out what's coming up, and the link is also in the description. This art class is a shorter prelude to Amanda's 2 to 3 hour workshop webinar in a few weeks' time, and gives you a good taster of some of the things she'll be teaching in greater depth at the full event. If this is your first time joining us, although you can pick up a tip or two from just watching it, all our shows are about practical learning, and this class is no different, as you can speed sketch along. It's fast and furious, but complements the longer workshop where you can then dig deeper into the techniques and pick up even more tips for improving your art. So without further ado, let's zoom to Amanda now. As we journey to the southeast of England, the recommended materials and reference pictures for painting along can be found on our website. Simply search for the class on our video library page and click the button Class Info. You can also find a direct link to the video library in the description below. Now, as we zoom up, I was told by somebody earlier this week, I'm always saying I can see them outside and they're rushing in, so I'm not going to say that this time. Oh, I think Amanda might have left her hazards on the car. I'll have to let her know. Let's say hello to Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Hello there, John.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. Now, this is obviously the first time for hosting you, so I'm really looking forward to it. And you graduated in fine art and also displayed your portraits in the BP Portrait Award at the, now remind me where it was. It was at the National Portrait
Yeah,
Gallery.
yeah.
Perfect. And what do you find fascinating about portraits then? What grabs you about those?
Um, I'm interested in the emotional aspect when you can get the features in the right place, and it kind of looks like what else can you add to a portrait? It's that extra, the X factor of the what painting can give you, which a photo can't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I get it. Well, I can't wait to get started. But before we do, a quick 30-second word on how today's live event's going to work. So first of all, we're going to walk through the sketching, which might involve talking about the composition and the various aspects of the horse's head. Then we're going to take a break halfway, and we're going to have a look at some of Amanda's previous works of art for a bit of inspiration, and we'll also talk about her upcoming workshop event as well. And then we'll complete the portrait in the second half, after which love you to share what you do at home on our Facebook or Instagram page for comments. So Amanda, we're going to be doing a horse's head today. So
Yes.
what made you choose that as a subject area? Do you quite like your horses?
It's this is Mally. This is a friend's horse,
Mally.
a race horse. It's quite simplistic. It's never easy, but it's quite simplistic to see the shape. So it's a great one to start with.
Looking at the photo, and hopefully everybody's had their photo reference through, it was sent out yesterday. What are the things that you look for when you're looking at a photo reference?
It's the gaps in between the features, which are the important bits, not the features themselves. So anyone can do an eye, an ear, but it has to be in the right distance and space between the other features. So that's the important bit that people forget about.
Hmm. And you're gonna start walking us through this now, and obviously we've got
I am.
45 minutes or so, so hopefully it'll be
Let's
enough time
go.
to go through.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. Loads of time, loads of time. Right. So I've got a piece of charcoal here. and I want you to break it. So if you have a piece of charcoal, break it so it's a little bit more manageable. And I'm just going to scribble on here the kind of marks we'll be dealing with. So straight lines, I'm using it down on the surface of the paper. Straight line, also straight line. So we can move and do area, and we can also do line, which if you do loads of line, promotes and gives you curves. So that's what we're basically working with here. So let's start with the horse's head. And you can see with the photo, I'm looking for a central bit, central area, and the ears are quite dominant, aren't they? And they're slightly right of centre. So I'm just going to start messing around and get some just right of centre marks going on. So this is going to be the top of the ear here. Now, if we continue down, we get some idea, and we can visualize this, where the forelock's going to start. And then at this point, can you see that the length of this ear, and I don't mind making a mess. I quite like the idea of just this messy nature of charcoal, and you can do the same. It won't hurt the drawing. So I'm looking at the angle of the ear in relation to the vertical of the side of the paper. When you get to the bottom of the ear, there's another angle, which is here, and then the forelock, and then the side of the nose. I have to remember not to go too big. I'm a bit of a killer with making things too big. I'm just going to move that over a minute. Yes, that's fine. Right, to the eye. Now, can you see the distance? That's the distance of, oh, I better pull that down a bit. The distance of, that's your ear. What's the distance to the eye? So you can take a measurement of the ear down to this angle, down to the eye. What's that distance? Now, this should give you some idea of the length of the nose. If the eye is here, run a vertical up, how close to the ear is it? Whereabouts is the cheek? I'm going to do it a little bit firmer so you can actually see what I'm doing. There's a long line that runs all the way down. If that's the distance from ear to eye, distance to cheek, whereabouts is that? So it's the same distance again, 1, 2. Then you've got the angle of the cheek. If you run a vertical up, you can see from the under the cheek, a vertical up through the ear, you can see that it's directly underneath. Angle of the cheek, whereabouts is that? How is that? What's that angle in relation to the vertical? Let's continue this across. From the chin, run a vertical up. How close is that to the eye? So start from how close is it to the eye, move across, run a vertical down, and you have the position of the mouth or the chin. And the mouth is there. I'm just going to make that a little bit stronger. So we're working the crossways and a crossways horizontally as well. So if that's the position here, where's the nostril? It's tipping down, it's non-horizontal. So we can work downwards the crossways and extend that out just a touch. But all the time thinking about your relationships of distance. So just building up, yes.
And I guess we've held a few classes and workshops around portraiture, and especially with portraiture, it's all about taking the reference points and, as you're explaining at the moment, judging the distance in relation to other points, there are subtle differences that can transform that subject into somebody or something totally different. It's trying to get it as accurately as possible in the measurements that you're
Yes,
making. Whereas if you're doing a landscape and you're putting a building in or whatever, it doesn't really matter so much. You can.
it doesn't really matter. But you say that to a landscape artist, I'll probably tell you
Well,
off.
landscape artists almost make up their own world when they're doing a landscape,
True. Yeah,
and they'll
true.
move a building, a few a few meters to
That's
the
true.
left, and they'll.
You can't move a nose, can you?
No, exactly, exactly.
It's got and I think with portraits as well, where you can very definitely see, it's say like a famous person, it's a famous person, but if you're doing a portrait, and it can be very quickly just a distant cousin or a neighbor, very quickly, just a millimeter out. So it's very unforgiving to do a
Definitely.
portrait.
Yeah, it's
So,
amazing how the human eye can pick up those differences, and it does transform that subject to something totally different if you don't get it spot on. So
spot
it's
on,
really
yes.
important to measure like Amanda's doing here, to make it as accurate as possible.
So just looking at other shapes as well. So can you see the angle of the ear down here to the angle of the shadow area to the eye? It's very much like a 90 degree, isn't it? But the shadow doesn't come in until just underneath the eye, so that you have this triangle shape as well. I'm just going to bring in stuff. So I'm not fussed at this stage about any kind of making it look like a horse, or spending any time on the eyes. I'm going to start building up some tonal. Look at my finger marks there, look. Because as we know, if we put a hand in it, so I get this kind of just hold my hand over by putting my finger down, but you get all these spots. So just to build up some tonal values, so we've got something to work with, because the next step is to rub it all out.
Carl has said that he's getting mesmerized. I think that's a good word.
Getting mesmerized. Is he joining in? Is Carla?
Carl. I would imagine he is. I would imagine he is. Are you joining in with charcoal though, Carl? Are you getting down and dirty with the charcoal?
And looking at all these shapes, and it starts to get easier and easier, because you're correcting, and drawing is very much a correcting process. As long as you're correcting everything you do, you're checking constantly about where things are, checking all the time. So angles, extend your angles, your working lines, and this is your structure, your scaffolding, if you like, underneath, to so that everything has its place and can hold on tight over the top, and then you can add all the good stuff.
I'm pleased to confirm that Carl is getting messy.
Good. Glad to hear it, Carl. Right. I'm going to start rubbing this out. Now, if, let's just check this. It's not cleaning the oven. We're not doing that. We're just going to move the charcoal about a bit. So a bit of tissue. And we're not cleaning, we're not scrubbing, but we just want to move it around. Now this has a nice effect, a softening effect, and pushes the charcoal back. Now this then allows for you to lift out. So you're lifting out the lights. So there's that triangle shape here. A little bit of light here, which you can draw in.
So there with the eraser, you're doing the erasing, but then you're giving it a wipe on the board to get rid of the charcoal that it's picked up. Is that right?
Yeah, all dirt belongs to the table and not your drawing. So looking at any kind of light that you see is going in. This is another way of seeing your drawing.
That's clever.
So it just gives your eyes a rest and gets you looking at it in a different way. But it's still a bit lacking in the charcoal, so I'm going to continue with a bit more and build up some of this.
Victoria's asked, what kind of a razor are you using?
Oh, I spoiled myself. Look. Oh, I've got a Derwent.
Oh.
Yeah, spoiling myself. Because I'm just checking where this is, how close to the eye is that. Yeah, make sure it doesn't wander, because what happens is things just start to wander because you think, oh yeah, I've done it now. And then you relax, but you've got to continuously look. Yeah, I used to use my my daughter's school rubber, and then the little pink thing. I thought, no, that's not really cutting it anymore. So I thought, I'm going to spoil myself with a Derwent, and it works. It's a good rubber. So how often can you, how many times can you build up and rub out on your charcoal? Is there a cut-off point? No, not really. Just keep going, and the more you do.
Is it sort of different layers, would you say? A bit like you would use paints?
Yes.
Putting on different layers of the charcoal?
Yeah, definitely. And the more you correct, I was using my finger then, but it's better not to use your finger so much. The more you correct, the less work you're doing. So the process is taking over, and the result will come from the process. So let's just continue. Now I'm going to swap to a well, if you have it, a charcoal pencil. If anyone's got charcoal pencil, you can use a charcoal pencil now, just to do some detail, just to bring in the eye a little bit more. And again, it's just shapes. So here is a little bit of shape coming down in a similar angle to over the side of the neck. In the side of the neck, just take that out, sharpen it up. And there's nice darks in here, and those darks are saturated. They're in deep. They're settled and seated nicely inside the horse's head. So sometimes you can get them so they look a bit stuck on if you just draw on top. So it's quite nice to get that depth. But straight lines are a lot more reliable than curves, because you can get with curves, you can have an emotional, or your arm can get tired. You can feel differently, and the curve can come out in a different way with your arm movement. So straight lines are a lot more reliable. Trim up that. Still using the side of the charcoal for area, as if you would a chisel brush with painting. Same kind of thing, and it gets the job done quickly. How low is that mane? Doesn't come down any horizontal across, bottom of the ear, doesn't come any further down than that. So I have to raise that mane, don't let it come down, otherwise it's going to look like a Mustang. Just darken around the eye a bit more. And each time you go back to the eye, you add a little bit more. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing in one go. You can just build up slowly. That little bit of the corner of the eye, just dip in with your Wants a bit big. I'll say just dip in very lightly with the rubber and not take out a load. It's just a little bit of light inside there.
Because the eye of anything, really, you tend to naturally be drawn to the eyes, don't you?
Definitely.
Whatever the subject is.
We can't, as humans, we're constantly wanting to get information. Are they friend? Are they foe? So we look into eyes for guidance. For what signals are they giving out to us, and all that kind of thing. So very important, the eyes.
Now let me know when you feel there's a comfortable spot for a halfway break, Amanda.
Yes. Any minute now. I'll just finish a little bit more on the eye, and then we can have a break. And it's good to have a break because it rests the just gives a chance to have a breather from what you're looking at.
Are you able to pull the canvas just slightly towards you? Just
yes, yeah. Sorry.
Thanks.
Is that better?
Yeah, that is better. Yeah, great.
We can have a break now if you like.
Brilliant. Well, I thought that start was amazing. We've not had a portrait for a while actually, and it's really nice to get into, and charcoal as well. We've not done a charcoal class for ages, so it's been really nice to do that. And I loved the use of the eraser in picking out the light. That was so simple. It's logical, really.
It's a nice way of drawing as well, because yeah, just taking away is just as important as putting in. Definitely.
Yeah, no, really, really good. So now gives us an opportunity, while we take this little break, to have a look at some of Amanda's previous works of art. I quite like this, the nosy side of me. Always likes kind of having a look at some. Now, what things have you picked out for us, Amanda?
I've got a little portrait of me when I was little.
Oh, lovely.
That my dad took a photo of me and I loved this portrait he did of me because of just what I was wearing brings back memories, and it's very classic kind of little one, you know, the kind of, and the spots is very childlike. Stripes and spots are very childlike, so there was a lot about this image that I liked.
And what medium did you use for that? Was that watercolor?
This is watercolors, yeah.
Right.
This is watercolors.
Right.
And then I quite like messing around with different types of mediums with watercolors. So this is with washing up liquid in the background.
Oh, great.
To mess it up. This is also washing up liquid, cling film, salt. Throw everything at it, and not knowing what I'm going to turn up with. So a more of an abstract start. And most of the time in painting, we know that the painting's going to look like the reference or the person or whatever it is. But what if you don't know? What if you don't know what you're going to come up with? So I've got a series of pictures. I won't bore you with them now, but this is an example of not knowing. And then just to put a context of a figure of some kind gives it an idea that it's on water perhaps. So this is washing up liquid here, and you can see the stars bits there, and the cling film here. But it's just an ethereal feel, context of space and scale and mood, and just to have a little something in it gives it a sense of place as well. So I like doing those kind of things. So I enjoy lots of different paintings. I get bored quite quickly, so that I go chop and change from one type of paint to another. I do. So there's a load of oils behind me as well, which I enjoy doing.
And what would you say is your preferred medium then? What do you?
It swaps between oils and watercolors mostly, But as soon as I get fed up with oils, because it doesn't give me the chaos I'm looking for, watercolors gives me that chaos. So I'm drawn more to the accidents of watercolors, because you can throw things at it and go, I didn't mean any of that, and that looks great. It didn't have anything to do with me. So I enjoy that about watercolors. But then the oils, there's something nice about the tangible nature of oils, where you're really working with the materials, and color is different as well, but it doesn't move in the same way. So you have to contrive a little bit of movement with that.
Yeah, no, I like the description of chaos. I mean, as the good old Bob Ross said, you know, those happy accidents.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they're already good. They look amazing. They look fantastic. And let me know in the comments which painting stood out to you and why. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're loving what we're showing today, we'd both really appreciate you hitting the thumbs up. YouTube then recommends this show to more people, which helps us with our mission to inspire them to give art a try, young and old alike. Now, we were talked a little bit earlier about Amanda's up and coming workshop, a longer workshop, 2 to 3 hours, where we're going to be going into lots of things in much more depth. Now, what are we going to be covering at the longer workshop, Amanda?
So I've put this one here. You can see that, can't you? And this is watercolors of a guy from Malawi. A friend of mine took this photo. She very kindly let me use her photo, and I'm loving the layers of colour and the lifting off. It's a really similar process to the charcoal, but slapping it on and lifting off very gently, and you get these underpaints and transparencies as well, with a little bit of cheesy. Look at that cheesy gouache over the top to make his eyes shine.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's going to be really great. And what's lovely, following on from this shorter one, where we're doing the layering with the charcoal, but then we're going to be able to introduce the colour into this workshop and really understand
same process. Yes, same process as the horse, exactly the same. There's no difference. So hopefully you don't get any horses on the portrait glass. Yes. No, he's not going to look like. He's going to look like the Malawi man. Yes, the same process. You're looking at verticals, horizontals. It's all about the gaps in between the features which give you the portrait, not the features themselves.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. And as I said, this longer 2 to 3 hour workshop webinar is more immersive. It gives you more time to explore and digest with Amanda all the techniques taught. There are also opportunities to get feedback. You can talk directly to Amanda. It's as I say, it's a lot more immersive. And you also get the feedback at certain stages throughout the workshop, as well as a critique afterwards as well. So if you want to join Amanda to learn how to bring realistic colour to your portraits, it's taking place on Tuesday the 5th of April at 3:30 in the afternoon UK time. If you can't make the day and time, you also have the option of purchasing the video as well, which is exclusive to paid customers and certain patrons. We never publicly release our workshop videos, our longer workshop videos, on YouTube. Spaces are limited for the live event, and to book you can either click the YouTube pop-out link, which will appear just here, or you can visit our website shopkeeprt.com, and I'll share my screen as always just to show you where to find it. So you click on the live events button at the top, and then you scroll down to Amanda's workshop just there. Click on the see details button. There we go. This then talks about some of the things that Amanda's been running through just now, and also the materials list. It's not an extensive materials list, which is at the bottom. You'll get sent all this stuff the day before, as well as the reference photos, so that you can print them out and walk through with them with Amanda. And if you want a ticket to join the live event, simply click that link. You go to Amanda's shop. You can click on the webinar ticket there, and you get the choice of either just booking a one-off ticket to attend the event, or the ticket plus the recording. And if you do purchase the recording, it's in pounds, by the way, when you go to checkout, but it converts to your local currency once you've made the transaction. If you do purchase the video, you can come to our video library at any time in the future. We have a chronological list of artists there. Search for Amanda in the artist filter, and then you can look at the class info. You can purchase the video if you haven't already done it, and you can click to watch. So it makes it really easy for you to relocate things in the future if you want to come back and do it again. In addition to all the other benefits, our patrons can also use a special link on our live events page, giving them significant money off these longer workshops, and I'll post that in a minute on the live chat, so have a look out for that as well. Right, let's go back to Amanda, and we will start adding some additional layers onto that horse. Amanda, back with you.
Lovely, thank you, John. Right, so if you have a charcoal pencil, this is when I would start to use it, because it picks out and cements the drawing, really. So as you know, this is going to all lift off if you even breathe on charcoal. So I'm just going to rest my hand on here and just bring to life. I might even put my glasses on. That's saying something, right? Just to looking for any shape and detail. And thickness of area of darks as well. And just very gently take out the light from the eye. And also we're looking at how the eye can sit inside these sockets, the structure around there.
Just some feedback from some of the viewers about your paintings that you shared. So Victoria said the portrait of Amanda as a child is delightful.
Oh,
definitely my favourite, but I like the idea of washing up liquid too. And Andrew said, love the desert village women painting. Lenny said, love the little girl. And Ellen said, simply beautiful and amazing work. Such variety and all mesmerising. There you go. That's that word again.
That's lovely.
I don't think we've had so many mesmerisings in a show. So that's your strap line, Amanda. Mesmerising.
Thank you very much. That's bad. I'm going to bring it. I can see the mouth is a bit small, so I can change that. I'm going to bring that out. Always correcting. It's always a correcting process. Just check where that's going. Yeah, it's going. A little bit higher. So the charcoal pencil definitely adds that little bit of oomph to the rich darkness of the charcoal. And helps with structuring. You notice that the outline is not the same all over. You don't want the dark around the whole thing, because it's not like that. It's light on here, isn't it? So I'm going to sharpen up that. But it's dark and sharp underneath there, so you can put it there and here. I'm going to take that off. Nice and clean and sharp round the nose. And he looks a bit sad. I don't like it with the horses have the sad face. I have to just lift it. You see, just there. And I'm just going to lift it. And it suddenly turns into a smiley face and not a sad face. So I don't like seeing a horse with a sad face. So it's quite easy to do, just to lift his spirits a little bit.
I find that with cars, actually. If you look at the front of a car, sometimes they have a sad face. Sometimes
Yes,
they have a
definitely
happy face. Diana said, I'm trying, but I can't pick a favourite. All three are absolutely lovely and such variety of subject matter. Charming. Thanks, Diana.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Oh, we've got that little tip at the top. So this is undecided. You see that line down there? It's a bit undecided, which I quite like. So you can play around with that and draw people in with thinking they're seeing an outline, and then it's broken. It's a broken line. It's just very subtle. It's quite like there, but it's not, because of the shine on it. You can just lose it a bit. So it doesn't have to be, and it's a nice complement to the hard edge down here. There's a little bit more light on the bony bit. And you use your rubber as a chisel.
It was starting to look like the horse had aged there. It got a few wrinkles.
Yeah. He's got baggy eye. Yes, he does. He's been up all night.
He's had a weary life, a weary life. Well, he's had to stay still for so long while you're taking a photo.
I'll just bring this out just a little bit as well. And a nice thing about he does look tired there, doesn't he? The nice thing about charcoal is that you can just feel your way. It's lovely to use. Anyone who uses charcoal, they know exactly what I mean. Anyone who's using pencil, they can do the same thing, but you'll probably get repetitive strain injury with all the lines you're going to be doing. So as soon as you start, he does look old now, doesn't he? Gosh, there's too much light there. Too much light.
The good news, with a bit of charcoal rubbing and the eraser, it's better than cosmetic surgery. Removes the lines instantly.
Yeah. For this softness. And then you can do that a little bit darker.
Oh, Andrea Watson said, hello, Amanda. I had a bad time.
Hello, Andrea.
Had a bad time signing into your class, but I'm here now and I'm loving it.
Oh, thanks, Andrea. Nice to hear from you. Are you joining in, Andrea? Are you just watching?
Yeah, let us know, Andrea. Yes, she is. She's
brilliant. Good. I'm bringing that ear down just a touch. So at no point are you stopping from drawing. You're just continually checking and rechecking until you feel that it's just about there. And as soon as you start darkening some places, it then offers like a domino effect, and then you've got to darken in other places as well. So you've got to be careful not to just like suddenly say, oh, I've got to do the whole thing again. You've got to decide where your darkest bits are and work from there. If you're going darker, it's going to throw out your tones.
Yes, it's a difficult judgment call, working out when to stop, because you can overwork things. If you're not careful.
So there's
an artist, an Indian artist, Amit Kapoor. He says stop at 75%. That's his.
Yes,
mantra.
but how do you know? How do you know where 75% is until you've passed your 100%? It's really important to find out where that is. And it's when people are afraid of going too far, that's when you just will never know. So you have to cross that bridge and go, yes, it was about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, but, that's what you got to do. Know where it is and try and judge that 5 minute call. So just very gently, just bring out a little bit of that very, very faint outline on the front, because it's a stroking area, and most people know what that stroking area feels like. So you want to get that across.
I would imagine it's even more difficult to stop when you've got a medium light charcoal, because it's so easy and tactile to kind of put it on, to layer it on. So
yeah, you just got to look at the whole thing all the time, and not just one little bit. So you're constantly kind of juggling. Just going to give them a little bit of Amy Winehouse, just a little bit of extra on the side. Those wings, I'll just because they're lost in shadow at this point. And his other ear just gets added there. Don't really know what is going on with his forelock. He always had a bit of a messy forelock. He never sat well. He wasn't a floppy one like a proper fringe. Now, how much of the star on his front? Because you can't really see it. It's just a very, very slight bit. So just gently push back. And each time you gently push back, you're doing less and less. And then you make a judgment and you say, you know, what's needed for finishing. Any little slight bits like that you can do with a finger, because it just takes it up, and being near the end of the drawing, you can just looking at things like that. It's very, very slight. You don't want to overwork something like that. Keeping those darks dark. So weighing up your tonal range, your tonal values, which is always what it's all about, isn't it? You always got to do that. That's slightly darker.
That I can see on the horse's forehead. Has it got a white marking?
It's just got a very tiny white marking, and
which I guess you probably wouldn't put on necessarily, would you? It wouldn't be as well. Maybe it would. Yeah. Well.
You can't really see it unless you start thinking about the putting things next to. Well, the outline is
yeah, the background or something.
The background stops. Yeah. Just gently does it. Very, very delicate.
It's quite nice doing that nose. You can almost imagine you stroking the nose, can't you, of the horse? No, it is amazing how with charcoal you can build something up so quickly and so effectively.
So immediate.
The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it can come off with contact to anything pretty much, and smudge. So you do need to have a good fixative or something to.
Yes, but even the fixative dulls it down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like pastels. What do you do with pastels? You just lose 25% of your strength, don't you? Of your colour strength.
It's annoying, isn't it? What do you do with them after you've done a charcoal thing? Do you?
Well, this is fixed. This is fixed. So
okay.
It's, but it still comes off.
Yeah.
Still look at that. That's on a fixative. So it's you either frame it straight away, or you put it inside a book that opens, like a pad that opens, so you can open and shut and not something which is pulled out like a sleeve.
Okay, yes. So it
Definitely
doesn't
not.
it doesn't drag across it.
Yeah, because you'll just lose it.
Yeah, no, that's a good tip.
So these fine lines, these veins can just be put in very, very gently if you've got time. Just just like a scribble, really. You don't have to put it in anatomically correctly, but it's just a
Just makes it more real. Oh, that's really lovely, Amanda. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us. It's been really nice. Thank you so much. And how have you got on at home? I hope you've enjoyed the last hour. It's been really lovely to go through that and experience a proper animal portrait. It's been really, really nice. And I hope you've managed to take something away from it. Now, as we near the end of this show, if you've got any words of thanks that you'd like me to pass on to Amanda, please do write them down for me now on the Q&A. Also, Amanda and I'd love to see what you've created from this class. The post relating to it is already on Facebook, so search for Shopkeep Arty on Facebook and you'll find it there, or you can see the link in the description as well. Now, before I go back to Amanda and read out the comments, don't forget that we're going to be live streaming a new event later this month where I'm going to be taking you with me into a prestigious art gallery and speaking with the owner and discussing the art on display. It's a new little sideline for our platform. If you're one of our patrons and have some ideas of what you'd like me to cover during the gallery tour, please do message me on Patreon as well. I'll bear that in mind when I'm going through. As it's the first one of a number that we hope to be doing, we'll be kind of making it up as we go along. So your feedback would be great. I'll now go back to Amanda, read out some comments. So I can see Amanda's still tinkering. We'll show you the final sketch at the end. Andrea said, "Thank you, Amanda. You are the best." That was Andrea Watson. Victoria said, "Wonderful. I've been watching, but we'll have a go later. Thank you, Amanda, for explaining everything so well in such an engaging way." Susie said, "Great lesson in observation, loved it." Lather said, "Lovely, captured the essence of the horse with graphite so well." Carl said, "Thanks, Amanda and John, I absolutely love this." So some really lovely comments. Michael said, "Thanks, Amanda and John, I really enjoyed the session. You're the best." That was Michael Percy. Diana said, "Thank you, Amanda, great strategies for approaching drawing." And I think we can take a lot of those things away for doing portraits and the measurements between different things as well. I think it's really important when you're doing portraiture. Hopefully you picked up some of those tips, and really looking forward to the next one as well. It certainly sounds like everyone had a good time over the last hour. So don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to click the notifications bell as well, as it then notifies you each time we launch a new video with a new artist. If you don't hit the notification bell, it doesn't do that for some reason. And if you want to extend this last hour and pay Amanda for a full workshop event where we'll just focus purely on creating amazing art together, don't forget to sign up on our website while we still have spaces. I think it's going to be a good one because we're going to be learning all about the colour tonal values as well, and the link is obviously in the description as well. So this brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's obviously goodbye from me, but obviously thank you so much for your time and generosity today to Amanda. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you very much for joining me. Cheers.
It's been really lovely. Thank you. I've really enjoyed it. Been good fun. And obviously we can't let you go, especially since it's your first time, without a big round of applause. And I'll finish on the horse. Thank you everyone.